The Wednesday week is sponsored by bentoria.com. That's BENTORIA.com.
There's a chance here, a great save, a turner from McClare. Mike Hunt, a terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
The Wednesday Week! Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very well welcome to the Wednesday Week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm Lord Hillsborough, and with me online, we've got a full house. First of all, we've got James. Hello there, James Bean.
Yeah, it's nice to have a full house after a quiet couple of weeks.
Lovely to have everybody back, of course. The ever ready, in some sort of a way, Victoria. How the devil are you, my darling?
I'll take that with a pinch of salt. I'm all right, my lord. How are you?
You could have taken it a lot worse, my darling. I've seen the videos. Fudgy, how the devil are you all been?
Somebody's going to have to circle back to that story. By the way, we need to come back to that one because that sounded. I want to see the promotional videos, if I'm honest.
I wouldn't say promotional. That would imply Victoria was a business.
Fudge, right? This always happens when you're on, right? And I've had tweets tonight saying, "How do you feel about Fudge abusing you every time he's on?" And this is a HR issue right here. I want this noted.
Where does the HR fall? Does that fall at Jesus' feet? Does it? Is that a thing? Is that one of his roles?
Shut up and eat your pizza.
All right, sorry, I'm back. Yes, Lord H, I'm back from Holland and I'm having a great time stalking like Steve McLaren. Is that a good intro? Yeah, can we do that?
Fantastic. And of course, we've got Eddie. Hello there, Eddie, old boy.
I got 5 on it. It's got me stuck and I don't go back. I got 5 on it. Partner, let's go half on a sack. Let's go half on a sack. I haven't done a sack race since I was in primary school.
Can we have no sacks tonight, please?
Actually, can I just interject with an anecdote right from the kickoff, right from early doors? It was a sack race that got me the sack from Butlins Entertainment Resort Skegness. If you want to know that, give me a tweet and I'll tell you the story.
I'm intrigued. I'll tweet.
Shall I tell it?
I kind of want to know what you did with your sack.
All right, let me enlighten you, kids. Going back to 10 years ago.
Can we guess? Was it?
Yeah, go on. Let's start putting some guesses in.
Was it inappropriate relations within the sack?
Kind of.
Were you sacking so hard that you bumped into Noddy and knocked him over? And
that leads me to another story, but I'll get back to that later on. But no, what it was, we were doing a school sports day. It was our big customer feedback winner.
No.
And as I was about to set off in a sack race, some child pulled my shorts down. So what I did, I thought I need to make an example of this child, like, you know what I mean? Or someone
so
has
he
60
said
kids.
to the jury.
Yeah. So the kids ran off, and you clip somebody's back heel and they fall down a bit. I did that, and I had one of the relay batons, which weigh less than paper. I started poking him in the knees and the elbows, going, look at that, there you are, kid, what about that? And the kid, for lack of a better term, wasn't the fizziest drink in the fridge. He went back to his dad and said, that sports coach has beat me up. So obviously it led to a disciplinary and all this, and I thought, no, it's fine, it'll be all right. And then a few of the redcoats that were there with me at the time wrote on the disciplinary, on the statement, Fudge then proceeded to hit the kid with a metal bar. So, that was me not working for them again.
So rewinding back to the start of this story, this was a sack race where the very first action was your sack getting exposed.
I mean, the irony wasn't wasted on me, to be fair. You know what I mean? But the 8-year-olds that were there, they had an issue with it.
Hey, so are you off that register now? Are we allowed?
Yeah.
Now?
Like I say, it's been 10 years. I'm allowed to talk about it now.
Trying for the human spirit.
So, Sheffield Wednesday.
Absolutely. Let's crack on, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Right, so first things first, of course, we do have to speak about the derby game, and I must admit, this one was a bit of a yardstick for me, and it was a cracking game, wasn't it, ladies and gents?
It was bloody brilliant, wasn't it? I just sat and watched it on Sky, and It's not very often that aside from Super Sunday, I will sit and watch a full match. Like, because obviously I go to the game myself or whatever else, and Tuesday night can't be arsed, Monday night can't be arsed. But it was a bloody brilliant game. I wish I'd have been there.
It was good. It was a very good game of football. It was end to end. You know, it's like sometimes when you're at a football match, you don't kind of watch the scoreboard. You've not really got any idea how long's played, and then you'll kind of turn around and have a look and check it out. And that game just seemed to fly by, and I think that's the indication of a good game of football when you look up and you've played kind of 40 minutes and it's nearly half time. Great game of football, and I think great performance by us, wasn't it? After a couple of slightly kind of more sort of wobbly performances, I thought we were back to his best on Saturday.
It's funny because we didn't get the result that I think we all wanted, and I think that the performance merited. But it was great to see that Wednesday team doing everything that we've done all season. We were dominant for large periods of the game against one of the best teams that we played this season. There was a full derby stadium that was. It wasn't the noisiest, but it was certainly quite imposing. I actually think the battle was won and lost between the fans, wasn't it? An awful lot of the time was spent. The Wednesday fans in full voice. The Derby fans, I think it brought out the best in them, especially second half. An unbelievable goal from Barry Bannan. We're gutted that we didn't manage to hang on. And, I think a little bit more attention, a little bit more discipline, a little bit more organisation, and we'd have been there. However, I think that game was exactly what we needed because we'd had, as James says, a few iffy performances where we didn't do what we've done so successfully this season. That was a return to form. And even though we didn't get the 3 points, I think it's an absolutely... it's a fantastic building block for where we need to be going into this final stretch of the season. So, certainly Saturday. But let's think about what it was. It was an important point gained. It's kept us there with clear daylight between us and Cardiff. It was back to what we needed to be as a promotion chasing team.
I think I agree entirely. I mean, there was points when I was watching it and I was thinking, we've spoken about our defence not being as great as what they were the year before, and how many clean sheets we kept last year, and all that sort of thing. But that's it sounds. As soon as Bent came on the pitch, I turned to the missus and I said, "I bet he scores. Of course he's going to score. Look at him."
Oh, of course he was. Yeah, every time.
How long was it? 36 seconds or something ridiculous like that. He literally just walked on the field and totted one in. He may as well have gone home after that. He was rubbish. But again, it's a point off of one of the top 6. Now, Derby must be getting quite frustrated because in terms of our record against the top 6, which is something I've been bemoaning all season. Derby are the ones that we've taken the most off. Is that right? We've drawn against Derby twice now. Yes.
Yeah, but we've drawn against Brighton twice and we've drawn against Hull twice as well.
Well, that's kind of encouraging. I drink a lot. You know what I mean?
Some of them were forgettable games.
Yeah. Yes. And this one was an exciting game, and we turned up for it. And I think we've got to have a special mention for Barry Bannan. He was everywhere, and he was by far the standout player for us that day. And I'm glad he capped it off with a pretty special goal. To be fair, that was a smash, wasn't it?
To be fair, Ian Holloway couldn't say enough about him, could he, before the match? He just wouldn't shut up on Sky. Just like, oh, Barry Bannan. Like, and he proved him right. But it was great to hear some Sky commentary going our way for once.
He likes us, doesn't he, Holloway? He's always liked us. I don't know why. He just always seems to be quite complimentary about us whenever I hear him talk.
I'd love Holloway, though. I think he's brilliant. He's like another Warnock, isn't he?
I honestly think that he likes us because we have been through so many managers. He's basically got us on his shortlist at all times. He's like, I must be in the frame for the Wednesday job next.
I don't know whether or not you could hear it on the TV, but unless I'm mistaken, we had our 5th Barry Bannan song of the year. which was born. I'd not heard it before, but it was probably the most sung song at the iPro Stadium.
Yeah, we didn't
Saturday.
hear that on the TV, but go on, James, give us a go.
So it is basically to the tune of "Achy Breaky Heart," that well-known country music classic by
Miley Cyrus.
Miley
Cyrus's dad. Yes. So yeah, you'll have heard every club has a version of it for someone or other, and it became. And I'm pretty sure that it's the 5th different song now that we've had for Barry Bannan this season, which either means that he's really good and deserves 5 songs, or we're just really indecisive as Wednesday fans. Let's just pick a song and stick to it.
Well, come on now,
Eddie,
James. Bear in mind,
Give us
this
a song.
is what Vic was angling at. She was getting somebody to sing it. Now, come on, James.
Someone sing
but yes,
it.
normally
Sing the song.
Normally, I raise the subject and then Eddie sings the song. This is the way that
Eddie
this
will
works.
sing it. Go on, Eddie.
So this time we're flipping the script, and so James, it's on you.
Right. I'm not going to really. I'll sort of like mumble it rather than singing it. But it goes, "We've got Bannan, Barry Bannan. I just don't think you understand. A wee Scottish man is better than Zidane. We've got Barry Bannan."
You know what's not bad,
Thank you.
Marvellous.
Really,
Marvellous.
good,
Woo-woo.
because you've been wasted all this year because you could have done that all this year. However, I was a little bit upset because all the way through the first part of the lyrics, it's Barry Bannan in the way that we have pronounced his name correctly, I might add, all through this season. And then at the end, they change it back to Bannan. So it's "We've got Bannan, Barry Bannan, blah, 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 blah." And at the end it goes, "We got Barry Bannan." Well, that doesn't work.
When did we turn into Spin It or Bin It? When did we turn into Desert Island Discs?
Room 101.
There we go. So yeah, that's my review of the match. Was great performance, disappointing end to our creative songwriting.
Talking of disappointing ends, after what was a great game of football, and I've got to say, actually, really good day out in Derby, really nice fans, and we found, and I've been there before, we found this really nice pub in Derby where the landlord is a Wednesday fan. So after the game was quite good fun.
That sounded like a bit of a chant then, James. You were like, "The landlord is a Wednesday."
Everything I'm doing tonight, I'm singing now. This is your fault. It's for making me sing that Barry Bannan song. But yeah, so the landlord was a Wednesday fan, so he came and sat with us for a bit. We were following the Cardiff game on Twitter, furiously refreshing. And we'd pretty much started the party. We were going to be there for the rest of the day and for the night. We thought, sod the train, we're just going to stay here all day party. And what happens? Talk about anticlimax. That Cardiff penalty that I'm not even convinced it was inside the box. Just what a crushing end to what had been a great day.
To be fair, whether Derby or Cardiff would have won or drawn, you'd have still been in bed by 8 o'clock, having a few beers that early. No,
I'll have you know it was 8:30. Actually, I managed an extra half hour this week. Thank you.
So did nobody buy you any chicken?
Not this week, no.
I must admit, though, like we've talked about, obviously our game and whatever else, but that last match, that Cardiff Bolton game was just awful, wasn't it? It was just edge of your seat stuff. And I was texting you with like the updates and everything. I was watching it on Sky Bet, and oh my God, I was like a nervous wreck. And I thought, why are we waiting for someone else again all the time? All we have to do is wait for somebody else.
Because it would just have been a bonus to have had it wrapped up last weekend. And it felt like it was written in the stars because it had been such a nice day. The sun had been shining. It had been a brilliant game of football. And it just felt like this is it. It's going to happen today. Against all the odds, Bolton are going to take a point off Cardiff. And we're all going to go home in this brilliant party mood and party into the small hours, or maybe 8:45 I'd have made it to. Maybe even 9 o'clock. Push the boat out till 9 o'clock, and obviously that happened, and it was just such a blow. But it doesn't matter. We go again, don't we? Hey, the other thing as well from the Derby game, and I'm confused by this, and I've still not quite figured out what happened. So Fernando Forestieri got booked, didn't he?
Dun dun dun.
Didn't he?
Oh, did you need confirmation? Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he did get booked.
I couldn't. Me and my friends afterwards were very confused because we saw somewhere, and I don't know if it was someone that told us or we saw on Twitter that someone said Fessi got booked for diving again. So we tried finding it on Twitter and couldn't do. But then John said, "Oh yeah, David Garrido tweeted it earlier." So I asked him, who said yes, but he said yes as a joke to wind me up. So I was like, "Oh, he did. He got booked for diving again." And then text me saying that was a joke. And it just led to complete confusion, and I'm still not really sure what happened. So what did he get booked for?
Diving. Again.
Well, no, what do you call it? Like insinuating or...
Simulation.
He got booked for nonsense.
It's
Absolutely.
insinuating.
It's been a long day, Fudge.
I've got a few gags on
Why
that.
are
Come
you
back to me
even
on
on?
that.
You're not on this podcast. You're never here. Bugger off.
But no, essentially-
Simulating, James.
So
is what
did
you're
that
called,
actually
my love.
happened? So he did
He
get
got
booked
booked for being elbowed in the face.
Of course
You
he
were-
did. That's
you were-
that's how he rolls.
I'm still confused.
He was
I
running
need,
with the
I need to
ball.
watch this, don't I? That would solve it. I did tape the bloody game, and I've not watched it yet.
You could walk up to Fessi in Meadow Hall, punch him in the face, and he'd get red carded. There's no question about it. It's just getting ridiculous now. But did anyone see his T-shirt before the
Yeah,
game?
we need a big shout out for the T-shirt before the
That
game.
was amazing.
That was a
Take a
super
card, any card.
What was this?
Have you not seen the T-shirt,
No,
James?
no,
So
no.
Fessi turned up wearing a T-shirt with one of those Pete McKee style drawings on it, and it's a footballer being reprimanded by the referee, and the referee's got an array of cards in front of him: red, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, and it says pick a card, any card. I mean, all right, so it's not the funniest gag you've ever seen, but
Live
when
on
Fessi's
Sky.
wearing it.
No, it's nice. Fair play to him for that.
He also retweets a photo quite a lot, as far as I've seen. I don't know if it is him or if he keeps favouriting it or whatever, but it keeps coming up on my Twitter, like linked to him, that he keeps favouriting a photo that Pete McKee has drawn of him with like loads of cards thrown at him that just said targeted above it as well. So he's
I've
proper
seen that.
out. He's
Brilliant
going
job,
for it.
Absolutely fantastic. Of course, the other thing that happened before the Derby game is we had a bit of a Wednesday night turn up. It was wonderfully welcomed by the Wednesday fans, but not terribly welcomed by
Reader.
Reader.
Follow the reader.
He's a Wednesday
Follow the
night
reader.
reader. He's a Wednesday night reader.
the photos of just stripping off and whipping his Wednesday shirt out, shall we say. They're just incredible. The Wednesday nights absolutely loved it. Coventry fans apparently not so keen.
Well, I don't know. I don't. From what I've seen on Twitter, a few of the Coventry City fans have gone, look, support what club you want as long as you turn out for us. Do you know what I mean? Which is quite nice. And I wouldn't begrudge any of our players doing it. I think wearing the shirt was a bit of a a step too far. But
Wearing the shirt with
Yes.
Nuhu on the back.
That's my favourite bit about it. He's a big Dave fan, and that's my favourite. There's a player there. I don't think he actually played with. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't on the pitch.
He never played
when
with him, did he?
When Dave came, we had Reed on the podcast, and he told us that Dave stayed at his house when he first came to
Yes, he did, yeah.
I did as well. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So the fact he's turned up and he's a new Who fan for me is it was wonderful. I mean, it's great as a Wednesday fan. Wearing the shirt, like I say, was a bit of a step too far, but I enjoyed that. And if you've got an issue with that as a Coventry fan, build a bridge, get over it.
Now,
The
it
thing
does
is,
have-
he's not playing for Sheffield United, is he? It's not Leeds or whoever else. It's not like they're a major rival. So why can't he go out and celebrate and enjoy the game? Like he was injured, and he's also said as well on Twitter, he's argued with a lot of people saying how many other injured players were there? None. So why is it such a problem?
I think it's a fair point that Coventry pay his wages, and so if they're playing a game, then if someone that is in your employment is going to attend a game, you'd expect it to be your game, wouldn't you?
Hang on,
I mean,
we
I
had an
think
early
it- I
kick-off.
think it
How do
was-
we know that he didn't make it back for Coventry's game?
What, from Derby to Coventry in 45 minutes? Is that
I've done it in
doable?
22.
They were playing in
Maybe-
Doncaster.
Maybe he did. No,
Yeah,
he was in the
I'm-
pub with
I'm
us
not-
getting
I'm not
hammered
going- I'm not
celebrating
going for Derby,
Cardiff, the
Doncaster.
Cardiff result. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. That's a lie. I tell you what was quite amusing is that because he was whether he meant to or not, I don't know, but he was next to Tango. They were like stood next to each other for the game. So obviously, Tango kind of comes out, gets his shirt off, and everyone starts singing Tango, Tango, and then Reader turns up and everyone starts singing his song. And I was stood right at the far left of all the Wednesday fans, literally where the line of stewards is, and then the Derby fans. We could actually hear them, and they were like, do they have a song for every one of their fans? They thought that as each fan came out, we just sang a song to them.
That'd be hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And of course, because of what happened with Reader, and he got a bit of stick from the Coventry folks, and of course, then this evening, as we basically speak at the moment, Coventry have, what's the best way of putting this? Started to select their player of the year, shall we say. And Reader is, of course, a Coventry player, and it turns out he's got quite a lot of support from the Wednesdayites for Coventry's player of the year.
The only thing that could make this more fantastic, other than yet another internet vote that Wednesday win hands down, is that if somehow Fernando Forestieri actually still gets the vote for Coventry Player of the Year.
It really would be utterly hilarious if it did end up. I was played 2 games for Coventry this season, something like that.
12. He's made a contribution.
And he's going to win the Coventry Player of the Year out by
It'll be like
60,000
Liam Palmer
people.
winning it for us, wouldn't it? It's legitimately like. It's right. It's actually more like Darren Potter winning it for us.
I love this. I love this. We should get onto Wolves and pick their player of the year and pick Halan for them as well. We should do it.
The danger is that Coventry fans will now hijack our player of the year and give it to Reece Wiggins. Will win our player of the year because it's hijacked by Coventry.
There's only about 6 Coventry fans, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't think it would sway the vote very much.
Unless Dion Dublin's going to win it, then I can't imagine that they're going to have any impact.
But no,
by the way, sorry, just to we've been on the air for about 20 minutes, haven't we? And I've done a nod gag. Speaking of Dion Dublin, according to Neil Ruddock, it's the biggest wanger he's ever seen in his life. Just keep it posted there, kids.
That's not nod gag. That's just facts.
That's just fact.
It's not the Guinness Book of World Records.
Knob facts. That could be a new feature that we start doing every week. Fudge's knob facts.
Listen, Eddie and Rod Hillsborough will back you up that I have started many a new feature and not followed through with them ever. There's been a new feature every week. But yes, let's do that. Knob facts. Apparently, in front of Razor Ruddock, Dion Dublin swung it around a bit and he looked like a helicopter. And Jordan's waist is as big as one of his thighs. That's what Neil Ruddock said to me this one time. and then we went out and got drunk the day after he was in rehab. So there you are, kids.
So we're looking for new sponsors for the Wednesday week, and if you want to be part of this high quality,
have we considered Viagra? Have we approached Viagra? I think that'd be a very appropriate sponsor.
To be fair, I think Pele's got that sewn up. Oh, come on, that was a good gag. Why was everybody silent then? It's gone. You've ruined it.
I would like to credit the chap that came up with the vote reader hashtag over there on Twitter, Mr. Paul Thorley, at P Thorley over there on Twitter. So again, just have a little look for hashtag vote reader, and by all means, if you would like to place your vote for Coventry City Player of the Year, I'm sure you know what to do. Other strange thing is also on that list is Mr. Tug Guy. Not quite as many votes from the Wednesdays, strangely.
No, because he doesn't give a shit, does he? Let's vote reader.
Right, so again, the Derby game went off. We've sort of got the point. To me, it was a very heartwarming performance. It sort of G'd me up along. As you say, we've not obviously won anybody really in the top 6, but we have played really, really well against them. And if that is sort of what we've got going into the playoffs, if we're in the playoffs, again, I was being presumptuous. I apologise. I don't mean to. But certainly, I can only see good things for us.
We are, of course, are going to have to make some kind of history in the playoffs if we do go up, because, and I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but we will have to be the first team ever to be promoted to the Premier League, having not beaten another top 6 side through the course of the season. Never happened.
Really? We're going to make it in history, aren't we?
Is that a thing?
Apparently so. I didn't do that stat, but someone that I know did, and said that no team has been promoted through the playoffs when they've not beaten one of the other top 6 teams in the regular football season. Obviously, we've got to beat them in the playoffs, otherwise we won't get to the final. Kind of goes without saying.
For me, the playoffs are, they're one of them where the previous season kind of gets thrown out the window apart from the last 2 or 3 games, because the last 2 or 3 games is if you hit the playoffs in form, you're going up. Blackpool did it. Hull City did it. Do you know what I mean? These are teams that flirted with the playoffs a little bit and then ended up finishing up and then ended up winning the bloody thing. Because for me, it's about hitting form. And in an encouraging performance like we did against Derby County, I now don't feel as dejected about the playoffs as what I must admit I was a couple of weeks ago. Because I was a bit concerned, because I'm thinking, Christ, we've not taken any of these guys. We can't beat this team. We can't do that. But we've turned up against Derby, and I enjoyed that. I thought, do you know what? We're not going to get trounced by Hull. We're not going to get battered by bloody Derby. And we managed to turn up against Brighton in their hometown. So, do you know what? I'm excited about it again. I'm starting to lose my head a little bit.
Oh, no. Jeeves, we're going to need some more equipment.
Then you need to speak to Oddballs, a speciality.
What the?
Oddballs, a speciality deal in steel, food, and engineering equipment.
Where's that voice coming from?
We offer great deals on all types of equipment and can include dismantling, delivery, and erection anywhere in the world.
Did he just say erect?
We can also buy your surplus equipment or sell it on commission. With over 30 years' experience, let us achieve the best deal for you.
Where can I find out more, Voice in the Sky?
Go to www.bentoria.com.
You heard him, folks. Jeeves, get a broom. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, so let's crack on with some Wednesday news, shall we? First things first, Fessi has been voted 5th in the Manager's Player of the Year, or Man of the Year, as James would prefer, which is, I mean, for all the yellow cards and nonsense and seemingly bias that he seems to have had thrown at him, for a £3 million steel player, this is brilliant, isn't it?
For one, I'm absolutely over the moon for him, because he's probably not had the best of kind of fortnights, has he? He's had a little bit of bad luck, and it feels like the world's against him a little bit. So I think he's done really, really, really well. And to be fair, the 4 players that finished above him, who are Joey Barton, Alan Judge, Ross McCormack, and Andre Gray. Reader Johnson, who came top, are all have had fantastic seasons and are quality players. So for Fessi, for someone that we signed who wasn't even a regular starter for his team last season, at the same level that we're playing at now, he's done so well this season and should be so proud of that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you had, I think it was Joey Barton that tweeted something along the lines of, I'm in good company here, thanks a lot for your votes, yada, yada, yada. The one I will have issue with is Alan Judge, because, I've got one big question. Where the bloody hell did Brentford finish up? Who the chuff for Brentford? And I know we have a decent relationship with the Brentford podcast, and they'll probably have their own opinion on it, but Alan Judge? Really? Is it not just Alan Smith at Leeds? Is it not just like a big fish in a little pond? Is it not just
he's a bit poorly now, though, isn't he? We need to, show some respect.
A bit poorly. His leg has fallen off.
Yeah, he's got no leg.
He's got no leg. Well, fair play. Well, you've deserved that, Judgy, just on your leg.
It's going to be gutting for him, though, when he has to play like an end-of-season testimonial or something like that for the team of the season, and he has to hop along. He's going to look rubbish, centre midfield. He'll be less mobile than John Sheridan in his later years.
John Sheridan, who was more mank than I thought he was, by the way. I've not spoken to you guys since we went to the class of '91, but the standout memory for me was, God, look how thick his accent is.
He's Irish.
It gets thicker the more.
Really? That was your entire sort of observation of John Sheridan on that night, is how thick his accent was?
You lot were all battered. Do you know what I mean? Eddie spent £1 million on football boots.
Eddie
you know
did,
what I mean? James and your mum had a few beers. I thought, Christ, well, just have a look around here. You know what I mean?
We weren't drunk until about 2 a.m. It's fine.
I saw the photos. I've
seen the photos. I just look like that. That's just normal.
Unfortunately. When I got my photo with David Hurst, he went, He called me kid, which I was well happy with. You know what I mean? And he went, I'll tell you what, kid, listen, just take the photo, because I've been on the beer with Shez since about midday, so just take it, because I need to go home. and I'm thinking about it, I don't think he did go home. I think that was probably a late night.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Not in the slightest. Speaking of players that have won other awards this week, of course, Barry Bannan was also popped in the Championship Team of the Year as well, which again is just fantastic that he's getting these plaudits. As Vic mentioned earlier, there seems to be a lot of people keeping an eye on him. And I mean, we've always known he's a belting player, and obviously people like Villa and etc. haven't known that. And there was somewhat of some kickback, shall we say, from the Villa fans that seem to have been rather miffed that he was in the Team of the Year. And, well, quite simply, hopefully, they'll be down there next year and it'll be sort of in a league above them, won't he?
Sod them. Sod the Villa fans and sod Aston Villa. I genuinely did. Sod them. Do you know what I mean?
Sod him.
Sod them. Do you know what I mean? They let him go. They had an absolute world-class player there. And when I say world-class, I mean world-class as far as Sheffield Wednesday is concerned. I know where we lie. But you know what I mean? Like, they let him go because they didn't want to play him. They paid him out to Palace and, sod him. Absolutely full-on, top of the range, slam dunk, no holds barred, sod him. See you later.
On the flip side, his mum and dad are really happy. They've had a brandy to celebrate, I've heard. Really
a brandy, not a whiskey.
Cute. Mr. and Mrs. Bannan. Oh, banana.
Yeah, I might have meant whiskey, but I've had a couple of brandies, so these things happen.
No, I'm chuffed for Barry Bannan getting in this team. I think it's great, and it's nice that he's getting the place that he deserves. Now, I think that we need to, as Wednesday fans, and I think we're doing it already, but I think we need to maintain it. We need to make sure that he becomes a bit of a cult hero for the team. Because I think we should have done it with the Phobie. I think we should have absolutely sang his name every week because, I mean, look where he went afterwards. I think we've got a part to play.
Benicophobe, come on.
Benicophobe was I don't know.
Fucking Gabriella Bonglahor. Like, Christ.
He's an ex-Wednesday player. But no, come on. I think we have a...
No!
I
won't cry, no!
I thought it was going to be a shootout like a Western. Nah, I tell you what, I think we have a part to play, and I think we're doing it very well right now in terms of keeping players and making them what's the posh term? An advocate of the club, making them a raving fan. You know what I mean? And that's some top-end corporate bullshit you're speaking there, Dan.
So what you only have to look at Reader, don't you? You only have to look at Reader.
Yeah, exactly.
If we can turn them into a reader,
yes,
that's the dream made, isn't it?
If in 5 years' time, Barry Bannan and his mum and dad turning up to random Wednesday away games,
in their caravan.
Yeah, if they drive the caravan. Do you drive a caravan or ride a caravan? Well, they drive their caravan right up to the away end.
Sorry, Eddie, you just blow my mind. Do you drive a caravan or do you ride one? That's all I'm thinking.
You pull a caravan. You pull a caravan.
You pull a caravan. What, like, all right, birds, do you want a couple of drinks? Like,
I don't know. I get on a plane, I turn left. That's all I know. So, yeah. So, if they turn up...
Bloody hell.
Right,
throw the chips down, Hoyland.
Lost the bloody crowd, haven't I now? Right, anyway. Well done, Barry Bannan. I think it's amazing. It's a triumph for the human spirit.
That was a laboured point, wasn't
it?
Right then, ladies and gentlemen. So next little bit of not so much news, but more of a somewhat of a plea. Now, of course, I'm sure you all saw the flags and the various bits and bobs that have been waved about at Hillsborough just recently. And personally, this is my personal point of view that I think it's fantastic. I love a flag at a football game. I love lots and lots and lots of flags at a football game because I think that they contribute to the atmosphere of the ground. Now, there are issues taking flags into football matches, of course, right? Especially at a stadium like Hillsborough, where we have a certain history, shall we say, when it comes to safety and bits and bobs like that. So we are now, as a fan base, petitioning SAG to see if there is a way that we can get some decent flags back in the ground. And I know we need a fire safety certificate and all that kind of things, but I mean, we've all been in the crowd. We've all been at Wembley. I mean, I had a flag as a kid at Wembley, waving it about, and it just looked amazing, didn't it? Did any of you guys have a flag as a kid, and it just looked marvellous?
Yes. Yes,
No.
I did. No, I tell you what, right? I had a flag when Sheffield Wednesday beat somebody. I can't remember that game, but not my earliest flag. My best flag memory was a man hitting me in the back of the head when I went to go watch Rotherham at Wembley. I know I was moonlighting, I'm very aware, but it was when Rotherham won the auto windscreen shield. I got hit by a man. But I think I like flags because I think they look great on the. You know how much press do Borussia Dortmund get when it comes to their away end? When you see these huge, great, massive flags, and they all go, look at the support from Dortmund, look how great they are. I mean, you've got that Football Away Days Twitter account that thinks it's bloody brilliant, but I don't understand what its point of it is. I mean, but that's a different rant. But flags, per se, for me, I think are great.
So, yes, if you're a flag fan, like some people are, please do pop over there. Have a little look at the Wednesday week Twitter feed. There's a link on there to the petition. We're not asking for much. We just want some flags. There are ways to go about this. There has been a letter sent from various different groups. Cop End, of course, Cleggy.
Hang on. Who sent it? Who sent it? Can they speak normally? I mean, we've been accused of being posh in the past. I reckon we should get Eddie or James to write it.
No, it's been written by Mr. Hibbard, of course, friend of the show from Owls Online. Owls Talker on board. There are various Facebook groups on board with this, and quite simply, it's been lovely to see the forums getting along on an issue for a change, which has been marvellous.
Oh, so there wasn't a picture of like Sid James laughing or anything when we were talking about it.
No, probably, but it was all in good fun. And quite simply, we just want to see what we've been using, what I've been using on Twitter, is a sea of blue and white and a wall of noise for the Cardiff game. Because this Cardiff game, I don't know if you chaps have seen, looks like it's going to be a sellout. It's going to be a noisy crowd. And I want to see a shed load of blue and white there as well, which, I mean, let's face it, a full Hillsborough, it's just amazing, isn't it?
That brings me on to a wonderful point here, my lord.
Fire away.
Okay, so, people, it's going to be a sellout crowd, we hope. So there will be 24 people around the ground that are going to be holding a bucket for Cavendish Cancer Care, as we know, charity, friend of the show. Please, please, please drop some money in. Please make it gold or silver. And please make some local families cope with cancer a bit better. Thank you.
No, I think it's a fantastic point, Mick. I think we should start a new hashtag, Phil Vic's Bucket, so we can get that on Twitter. And
For fuck's sake!
There we were with a lovely point made and a great cause, and we just stuck in
It's when you're on.
And I had nothing to do with it. I'm very happy with that.
It's you. It's an influence, Fudge.
You're
You're a toxic person.
Can I just repeat?
That's what they tell you in the books.
I do listen, but you guys are a bit posh. That's what it says here. A bit posh.
Oh, this is my show voice. But no, you are absolutely right. Cavendish are sort of friends of the show. Of course, everybody's heard that advert. We are more than proud to be associated with Cavendish Cancer Care. And if you do see one of the green buckets knocking about, chuck some shekels in. It's for a fantastic cause. Obviously, we all know about Chris and obviously what Mr. Peacock, as he mentioned on last week's show, is doing, which again, Mr. Peacock's charity raising exploits are now up and running, so you can start to pop over there and get some money popped in for Mr. Peacock as well. And again, if you've got a shekel or two, if you can, it really, really is appreciated, isn't it, Victoria?
It sure is, my lord. It sure is. And just to put it into perspective, it costs about £300 per family to support a family every single year at the Cavendish. So please, 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 you know, there's 42,000 people there. Can you imagine if everyone gave £1?
Absolutely.
One thing that I've spotted, in fact, I don't know if it was this week or actually last week, and I forgot to mention it, was a suggestion on an internet forum that caught my eye, and I thought, maybe if the result this weekend goes our way, maybe we want to do this at Wolves. That there was talk about doing like all the Wednesdayites that go to Molineux for the last game of the season, all take a yellow card, and every time Fessi like goes near the ball, falls over, everyone waves their yellow cards. I don't know how I feel about it. It made me giggle a bit. So
my God, yes.
I'll
It's
ask
like
you
the
guys,
evolution
yay
of
or
the-
nay?
of
Do you
the
think we should do
handball
it?
chant.
Yay. Definitely.
It's the evolution of the handball
Yeah,
shout.
absolutely.
Remember the Barnes a few years ago? The Abo!
Abo!
Abo! It still has a bit of a life. Abo! It still has a bit of a life that we do that. So I think this could be it could be the logical evolution of that, and it will prove that we are better than any other fans because we have a sense of humour.
I think I agree.
Absolutely fantastic. Right, so the other bit of Wednesday news this week, coming on to obviously our next match, is that old David Jones has piped up, hasn't he? Mentioning about how Wednesdays haven't got the gumption to cross the finishing line for the playoffs. Do we have a polite way of dealing with this? Obviously, we all know Mr. David Jones in full support of him whilst he was here, but it's a bit naughty, this, isn't it?
No polite way to reply to him whatsoever. So, just wave. Just wave. That's fine.
I'll tell you what, Dave Jones. When I want an opinion on netball, I'll give you a ring. Until then, how's about you?
Do you think he's just getting? I don't know. It's just weird, isn't it?
I'm going to have to play devil's advocate a bit on this, because after actually reading what he said, where all he said is that he thinks the pressure's on Wednesday, and actually his comments made quite a lot of sense, so I'm going to stick up for him a little bit and say that I think he's been slightly misquoted. I don't think he's been trying to goad the Wednesday fans at all. I think he's got a bit of a bad write-up for this one. And Dave, if you can put a check in the post, that would be lovely. Thank you.
But even if that's what he said, the pressure on the Wednesday, it's rubbish. Obviously, we're going to speak about the Cardiff game anyway, so let's crack on with that as well, shall we?
Is it? That makes sense, really, because Cardiff go into it as underdogs. They're not expected to get anything out of it. There's no pressure on them. The pressure is on us because it's in our hands.
But Cardiff have to come for us, don't they? That they need 3 points. We just need a point. So they're going to be coming at us, which, to me, it is brilliant because obviously we've seen what we can do on the counter-attack. We've seen Fessi score, 3-4 of his goals from counter-attacks this season. And again, we said it with the MK Dons. They did sit back. They came for a point, even though they're going to get relegated from it, which was utter nonsense. Cardiff can't do that, can they? They've got to come at us.
Yeah, I suppose so. But to us, that makes no difference because Carlos will not play for a point. We know what Carlos is like. We do not go into any game with any intention of anything other than trying to win that football match. So, if anything, all it means is it'll be a very open game of football. Which is a good thing because it means that it's a tough one to call.
Let's be honest here. We were all gutted at whenever it was, about the 7:15 by the time that Cardiff match finished at the weekend. They have been in a terrible, terrible run of form. Beating the worst club in the league with a penalty in the 117th minute is not indication of being a team that is driving towards the playoffs. We have nothing to fear from Cardiff. All we have to do is do what we always do in these big Wednesday end-of-season matches, which is A, fill the stadium. We're going to do that. B, be loud. We will do that. And C, perform. And you know what? As much as the Wednesday fans and the Wednesday crowd, we do get on the back of players, and we are guilty of expecting Chris Waddle and John Sheridan when we've got Darren Potter and Lewis Buxton. But when the chips are down and it comes to these big games, we back the team. And 9 times out of 10, Crystal Palace 2010, 9 times out of 10, we deliver when these games arrive. So all I would do is urge the Wednesday fans to get there with a positive mindset, get there early, cheer the team on, and if they play even half as well as they did against Derby, we will beat Cardiff at a canter. This is not a last-ditch, win or die type situation. This is just a let's get this boxed off, have a week off when it comes to Wolves, and then come back strong for the playoffs.
How big a game do we reckon this is? Because I was having a chat with a mate of mine on Twitter the other day who was saying he thinks it's the biggest game since the playoffs 11 years ago. So he thinks this is bigger than the Wycombe promotion game.
Objectively, in terms of league positioning, yeah, I think he's right. I think it's probably equal to the Brentford game, because that was a gateway game, wasn't it? The Brentford away game in the promotion season was the gateway to us finishing the job off. This is the gateway to the playoffs and potentially us achieving what we want to achieve. So, no, it's not as big as the Wycombe game. It just isn't. We're a division higher. The stakes are probably higher, but as a standalone game, this is a game that we can lose and still get a happy ending. That wasn't true with the Wycombe game.
Of course, worst comes to the worst, and we don't get a point against Cardiff. But quite simply, we just had to beat Wolves as well, don't we? So it wouldn't be the end of the world, although it would be nice to secure that on home soil. I mean, the Cardiff game, it's going to be a belter. The Wednesday fans are going to be in fine voice. The hi-ho Sheffield Wednesday at the beginning is going to be epic, and that's not a word I use lightly on there, but it's going to be huge, isn't it? It's going to be like the Wycombe game one. It's ridiculous. One thing I would please beg of Wednesdayites is, if we do win this game, stay off the chuffing pitch for this one, boys and girls, because we've got another game to play in it, hopefully, after that, haven't we?
Yeah, I agree with that. And we paid £1 million for this pitch. We don't want to run on it.
Pitch invasion? Are you winding me up? I tell you what, I think the word tin pot is perfect, by the way. Did anybody see the QPR one to sarcastically clap themselves off the pitch when I think they lost to Newcastle for hilariously. It was like a year ago or 2 years ago at the end of the season. No. You know what I mean? Because bear in mind, that's going to be the video that haunts us forever. Let's say that we get into the playoffs, yeah, but then we absolutely embarrass ourselves. And what will happen? That video of that pitch invasion will haunt us for years. It'll be one of them things where they go, lol, look at this guy. It'll be more embarrassing than Brian Kidd and Alex Ferguson. No from me, fuck 'em.
Well, I think that's pretty much summed all that up, hasn't it? Certainly, Fudge, clearly not a fan of flags or pitch invasions.
Sorry, did you say fags or slags?
Either or. Choose your own adventure.
Well, one I've got an indifference to, and the other one, jury's out.
The other little bit of news it's just worth mentioning from the Cardiff game is that the linesman has been replaced, hasn't he? A chap called James Bell has stood down from the game at Hillsborough because apparently he's from Sheffield, and Wales Online revealed that this chap was from Sheffield, so they've basically chucked him out of the game and replaced him with a chap called Ravel, and then another name I can't pronounce. Bit weird, that, isn't it? I thought there were sort of things to stop that kind of thing happening.
Can't Fudge pronounce it if it's like European?
Ravel is fine.
But what if he was actually a blunt and not a Wednesday? Do you think it was a possible plant to try and stop this from happening?
They're all shit, aren't they? As a linesman, they're all rubbish. He'd have got everything wrong. It doesn't matter where he comes from. Hey, there's some good headline potential by the fact. What's his name? James Bell.
James Bell.
Fudge, come up with a headline, something involving the word Bell and end for Bell, something like that. You can come up with some kind of novel.
James Bell ends his job. I fucked it up. I've had a wine. No, my concern is that the guy from Sheffield, has left, devoed, which would have been bang on board with, and replaced by somebody called Ravel. Now, isn't there a player for Cardiff called Alex Ravel Griffiths?
Yeah,
it's a conspiracy.
Yes.
Striker and goalkeeper, maybe he could run the line as well.
So we've earned the dup, getting rid of somebody from our own town and replacing him with one of the players' dads. Now that, for me, smacks of Sunday League. Every time he puts his flag up, you cheating bastard! That's what's going to happen.
Pass it to Jimmy. Go on.
Wrong.
Right then, ladies and gents. Of course, it goes without saying, Saturday's going to be a massive, massive game, isn't it? It's going to be packed Hillsborough. I shall be in the Riverside on Saturday as well, so please do come and say hello if you're in there as well.
You don't know what you look like! Unless you're wearing a top hat and tails, you're going to be like, who's this geezer?
Wear the hat.
My
wear
photograph.
The hat, wear the hat. Go on, you've got to wear the hat.
My photograph has been on Twitter for 5 years now, so everybody can see exactly what I look like on my avatar there.
I think you described it as being from a few years ago, didn't you?
5 years ago.
From 2002, I believe it was.
It was the first time that me, Fudgy, Lord H, and Beastie all got together. It was at a wedding, a society wedding, and that's exactly what he looked like. I vouch for it.
Can you remember the days when we used to do things like that before all these commoners came along, Eddie? And then,
Like commoners, you mean?
It was. That's what it was, Vic. It was Prince William's wedding. We were there, quaffing wine in canapes. You know what I mean? We didn't have plates. It was just people walking around with, a little bit of pudding on slate. And, because...
We ate the food off naked Japanese girls, if you remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the days, weren't they?
How is that not talking about it?
You can't do that anymore. It's political correctness gone mad.
Sorry, Oriental ladies. Sorry.
Yes, bang on.
But no, it get raised to the roof at Cardiff. I don't need to tell Wednesday nights how to do their job, do I? It's going to be absolutely incredible atmosphere. And of course, it's going to be a pleasure to see everybody there. The Wednesday week is proud to be associated with Cavendish Cancer Care. Cavendish is a Sheffield charity dedicated to improving the quality of life for people living with cancer. No one should face cancer alone, so Cavendish provides emotional support through counselling and complementary therapies. The services they provide are free of charge and are funded through donations. If you can help or would like to find out more information, you can go to www.cavcare.org.uk. That's CAVCARE.org.uk. Right then, ladies and gents, that's just going to bring us to an end of this week's show. Of course, it's been a pleasure of always, whatever happens on Saturday, we shall be back next week with a full roundup of it. Jamesy, if people want to get a love of you over there on the Twitterage, where can we do that?
You can get me at James Marriott. It goes without saying, I'll be in the Riverside Cafe as well on Saturday, and then hitting the town afterwards and going out for a few drinks after the game. Possibly to celebrate us confirming our playoff place, if not to commiserate the fact that we haven't cemented our playoff place. Either way, it works.
So if you want a night out till 8:30 in the evening, please tweet at James Marriott. Get involved, kids.
No, it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. I'll make it till at least 9:30 for a 3 o'clock kickoff.
If you want to fall asleep in Charlie Brown's car park, get involved at James Marriott.
And Victoria, where can I go to you, my darling?
You can catch me at Victoria1867, and of course I shall be outside the ground on Saturday with 23 volunteers collecting for Cavendish Cancer Care, and then I shall be in the pub, of course.
And don't forget, #PhilVixBucket. Fudge, if you want to go with you over there on the Twisted Joe Party, where can we do that?
If you want to get hold of me, I'm on Twitter at Dan Fudge. Caution, I do say fuck a lot.
And of course, don't forget, if Fudge needs feedback, so please, that's where you need to send that to as well.
I don't want any of your feedback.
And Eddie, old boy, if people want to go to you, where can we do that, my friend?
You can do that by booking onto a flight and turning left, because I'll be in premium economy. I am at Sausage Arms on Twitter. I will also be in the Riverside Saturday, and potentially not staying out later on because I did that last time. I know I did it last time. We had a big game. I ended up drinking a bottle of Sarson's malt vinegar for a bet. So I'm not keen to drink that. It was not a good.
Have you booked a hotel,
Eddie?
Eddie?
Stuff.
Is that a proposition, Vic?
No, I've got my mum and dad staying.
#PhilVixBucket.
Can we stop with the Phil Vic's bucket? This is
At
horrible.
Sausage Arms, I'm DTF.
And of course, if you'd like to get hold of me, you can at Lord H, that's L0RD_H. You know, the podcast as well at TWWcast. Send us emails, do all that kind of thing as well. We are sort of on the spy out for a new sponsor for next season. Of course, Oddballs have been fantastic with us, really, really fantastic. But if you...
Oddballs have been fantastic with us. Oh.
But if you or anybody you know would like to have a little chat with us and about the sponsorship of the podcast, again, we're happy to share our numbers with you. Now, of course, there has been a really serious thing, obviously, that Hillsborough has been involved with, which we've had a verdict for this week.
Yeah, finally, it's a very different ending to the show that we would normally do. As you know, generally on the Wednesday week, we have a bit of fun. We don't take things all that seriously at all. But every now and then, there is something that comes along more important. And we've been reminded of that today with the news about the Hillsborough inquests. Naturally, a very emotive subject, one that we all have an opinion on, and we're sure that you do too. Whatever your thoughts on that fateful day back in April 1989, we feel it's right to end the show with a tribute to the 96 people who went to a football match and never came home.